Welcome everybody to a look at a new 88 films release in the form of 1992's The Cat. So this is directed by Nai-Choi, who I've seen the likes of The Seventh Curse and Ricky O, The Story of Ricky from. And this is a science fiction action film. Clocks in at 89 minutes long. Stars the likes of Gloria Yip Wan-Yee, who was in The Blue Jean Monster, as well as Ricky O, The Story of Ricky. Wise Ali Cha Young, who was in A Better Tomorrow and Running Out of Time. And finally, Christine and Wing-Mei, who was in Crime Story alongside Jackie Chan. So, an evil blob-like extraterrestrial has come to Earth with nefarious intentions. Luckily, some good aliens are on its trail: a man, a woman, and of course, their fluffy black cat. So, considering the two prior films I've seen from the director, maybe my expectations were a little too high, as this didn't hit quite as hard as I anticipated it would, because The Seventh Curse is really an enjoyable mix of horror and comedy. Um, and then Ricky O, The Story of Ricky, is just outright madness in terms of its violence and its action and such, especially in terms of the gory details that happen and such, and the gory deaths, in fact. So yeah, this doesn't quite hit the highs of those films. That said, there is still plenty here to enjoy while it is generally engaging. The effects are also a mix of excellent and obvious, but all in the name of good fun. There is some well done action, the violence is great, and there is a cat versus dog fight which is like nothing I have seen before, and that employs a great deal of different kind of effects as well. You have puppetry, you have stand-ins, you've got stop motion animation, um, and then just a great deal of blood and gore going all over the place as well in certain respects. So yeah, that's probably the highlight of the film. But there's also other elements as well, especially when the blob-like creature is attacking. There's a museum scene where he's attacking a bunch of guards, and then there's a scene where he basically takes over the body of a detective and ends up going on a rampage against these arms dealers and such. So there are certain elements that are quite high, but a lot of it is quite average in certain regards. The first 12 or so minutes, for instance, is quite mundane in a lot of ways, and I was thinking, oh no, is it really going to be more like this, and only really going to be towards the end where it's going to get quite as mad as these previous films. But it does pick up a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot more slump parts to this than I'd say in these previous two films, which for the most part really did keep up the energy throughout, whereas this doesn't quite manage that in a lot of ways. But that said, the pacing is also on point. The cast is good. It is well shot, and when it is firing on all cylinders, it is highly entertaining. Just wish it was more hitting more of those highs for more of its running time than hitting the lows, quite frankly. But yeah, this is a really nice release. Really nice hard box that you get with this. We also get a slip cover that goes over the hard box to protect it that little bit more while it has the information on the back. And then on the reverse, we have more nice artwork. And then we have the artwork that we've already seen on the hard box on the sleeve. And then we have what I believe is the original artwork on the back. So yeah, I'm a big fan of cats in films, regardless of whether or not they're good or bad. Yeah, this is not quite up there with the best of them, but there are definitely worse out there. It does get a solid 3.5 out of 5, but it is easily my least favourite film from the director that I've seen so far. We also get a art card with the new artwork on one side and the original artwork on the reverse. Fortunately, no poster, which I really would have liked. Then we get a booklet as well. And inside, you get pictures from the film, as well as cast and crew. That Cat is Dangerous, a retrospective look at the filmography of Nai-Choi by Paul Bramhall. Body Horror, the warped cinema of Nai-Choi by Matthew Edwards, and special thanks as well. So, yeah, there's the Seventh Curse that I talked about earlier, which is a film that I do highly recommend seeing. I do highly recommend seeing this one as well, especially if you are going into the director's films for the first time. This would be a good start to his films, because then you would ramp up to the Seventh Curse, which I'd recommend second, and then Riccio I'd recommend as his best that I've seen so far by quite some margin. So yeah, nice looking booklet, well produced, and feels pretty good. And then on the actual disc itself, we've got a brand new 2K restoration of the original negative, and that's a high definition Blu-ray presentation in an original 185:1 aspect ratio. Looks and sounds really rather great, no real issues at all, especially in terms of the visuals. It does look really rather quite great in a lot of ways. Looks like a far higher restoration than you would expect, or actually would anticipate given it's only on Blu-ray. Got remastered original Cantonese monaural soundtrack, newly translated English subtitles, audio commentary by Asian cinema expert Frank Yang from the New York Asian Film Festival. Got the Japanese cut in standard definition with English subtitles. Didn't see that version, so not sure how that differentiated with this. But I imagine that's not a great deal. Then we've got a new interview with the writer Gordon Chan, image gallery, and trailer as well. So, yeah, a nice enough release. Certainly has more to it than I would have expected, given it's not a film that I feel is well known, or perhaps it is, and I'm just not really in the same kind of knowledgeable area of this kind of thing. I'd heard of this, likes of Ricky, or the story of Ricky, long before I'd actually seen it. Hadn't heard of the Seventh Curse before seeing it, so yeah, maybe I'm just not well knowledgeable of the director's work in the past, but still, solid enough effort. But if you are coming off the back of the likes of the Seventh Curse and Ricky O, then you might well be as just slightly let down like I was. But like I said, when it is hitting all the highs that you would expect from the director, when it comes to the practical effects, the gore, the high energy scenes and such, then yeah, this is really hitting those highs. And there are several of those highs here. I just wish it was more of that and less of the lower parts, which, yeah, some of the character interactions are a little bit boring and it doesn't start off the best. And there is a little bit in the middle where it's a bit sluggish, but on the whole, solid enough and well worth the watch. And yeah, certainly has one of the best animal fights that I've ever seen in a film before. And that alone is well worth seeing the film for. So yeah, but if you have seen the film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.